competitive in the AFC West. He has upgraded both sides of the football. Seemed very confident when we talked yesterday. This is an acid test for the Broncos. Their first 3 wins coming against teams all 0-3 at the start, lending some speculation as to whether or not they are really at the Kansas City level. We're about to find out. Pete Stoyanovich with Vaughn Hebron deep. Hebron acquired a numbers game in Philadelphia, made available just in the final. Stoyanovich to the 9. Hebron 20. And he's ripped down at the 26-yard line. Darren Anderson first to get a hand on him. John Elway, the veteran, now in his 14th year. And here are the men who will be opening the holes for an improved running game. Zimmerman, Schlereth, Nalen, Habib, and Thompson, all veterans. Terrell Davis in his second year off to a great start. He leads the NFL, 403 total yards. Craver also replaced by Sherrard in the 3 wide. Miller and McCaffrey, the other 2 wideouts with Shannon Sharp. The tight end, Sharp, plays his best games against Kansas City. Elway throws to Sharp, and he has a first down at the 37-yard line. Tracy Simeon the tackle after an 11-yard gain. The defense for the Kansas City Chiefs unchanged from a year ago when they went 13-3. Smith, Phillips, Saliamua, and Booker the front 4. Derek Thomas leading Simeon and Davis at the linebacker spot. Carter and Hasty at the corners. Washington and Collins at safety. Anderson and Bayless in the dime. First down, Denver to the running game. This is Davis. Terrell Davis with a flag down. Davis to the 40-yard line. Dale Carter with a tackle.
With formation, got Shannon Sharp matched up with the linebacker.
McCaffrey to the right. Anthony Miller left. Davis, the lone running back. The quickie incomplete through the hands of the tight end Dwayne Carswell, who has but 4 catches in his 3-year career. Carswell leaves. He's from Liberty, where Harry Green also played football for the Flames, and former Cleveland Browns coach Sam Rutigliano. Marcus Allen and the Chiefs offense keeping cool on the sideline. 2nd and 5. Give to Davis. Turns the corner and has the first down, it would appear, at the 47-48-yard line.
One of the major concerns I had of this game today, could this Denver Bronco offensive line be strong enough and physical enough to outmuscle or keep at the line of scrimmage against this Kansas City defensive line? So far, 2 runs, they've done an excellent job, have actually moved that defensive line back some.
They say that Davis stepped out of bounds between the 46 and 47, so it's 3rd and a half yard. Alex Gibbs, the mastermind of that offensive line, used to coach here in Kansas City. Chamberlain in motion and then sets. Double tight end. Give it to Davis. Easily picks up the first down to midfield.
You know why I like this call, Phil? Usually quarterback sneak. Well, you put your quarterback a little bit in jeopardy. But this call here, with all those guys bunched up on the line of scrimmage, they're keying on the quarterback, thinking he's going to get it. Now you go off tackle with Davis. If he breaks 1 tackle, it's history.
That's right. And the one good thing about the Denver Bronco running backs, Craver and Davis, they run hard and straight ahead. So in these short yardage situations, they're tough to stop for a yard or less.
Well, from the opening kickoff, Elway and the Bronco offense moving to midfield. Audible against this noisy, partisan Kansas City crowd. The toss, and Davis a yard. Tackled by 29 Brian Washington and Tracy Simeon. 2nd down and 9. Dan Saliamua in the middle of that Kansas City defense said yesterday the philosophy of that front 4 is we must penetrate 2 yards. So far, the Denver offense has been an equal match.
How about that smile? He was so good yesterday, we gave him 2 hats.
He's happy for Jerry Ball on that 60-plus yard touchdown rumble. He said, I'm jealous. He played behind Ball as a rookie in Detroit. Craver dropped for a loss. Dan Saliamua 37. Down low to trip him up with Neil Smith assisting.
Boy, Sally Moore and Smith.
The Kansas City defense does a good job right here of penetrating. Gets in the backfield. You can see Dan Saliamua getting in there, making the tackle. But 2nd and 10, Denver shows you the patience they have. They run the football.
Now 3rd down 10. Chiefs with 8 men on the line of scrimmage. Elway from the shotgun. False start, no play. And because of the noise, Neil Smith hits Elway. Elway had heard the whistle, but was smart enough at least to protect himself.
Broderick Thomas, number 76, moves on the line of scrimmage.
Before the snap, false start. Number 76, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
So the noise creating the false start, those offensive tackles, it's just beyond human request to try to hear the count.
Well, it's the noise, of course, which really bothers them, but then you have Neil Smith and Derek Thomas rushing, and that really magnifies it. That's why you see the tackles always jumping off sides or moving before the snap.
More noise at 3rd and 15. Smith offside, free play for Elway, knocked away by Thomas, picked up by Thomas, and there he is, Derek Thomas, but it won't count, as Neil Smith had crossed the line of scrimmage and did not get back on time.
Dick, it doesn't count, but it's worth seeing again. Derek Thomas, I mean, this is what we talked about at the beginning, 35.
Back to the 50-yard line on the penalty, where it will be 3rd and 10. To Shannon Sharp, and finally Brian Washington bumps him out of bounds at the 32. An 18-yard play.
Where you're going to have success throwing the ball against this Kansas City defense is throwing to the inside receiver. Shannon Sharp lines up in the slot. William White's covering him. The difference is when you line up in those slots, you can go inside or outside. The Kansas City defenders can't use that sideline as their friend.
Respotted at the 31 for its 1st down. Sharp in the news this week said that he's working desperately to fine-tune his dance, his touchdown dance, but he's saving it for the home crowd at Mile High. We'll be right back. On the shin, the timeout was for William White, who limped off and working on his lower leg. 1st down, Denver. First possession of the game. 4.5 minutes have been played. No one in the backfield now as Elway sends out 5 men. Throws underneath. And it's Anthony Miller who struggles to the 25 and close to a 7-yard gain. James Hasty makes the tackle.
We're seeing part of the game plan of the Denver Broncos today. What they're going to do. Anthony Miller in the slot. The running back outside. This way they give the wide receivers a chance to go inside or out. So far, twice today they've done it. They've had success both times.
That's to get away from the bump and run from the corners.
That's right, because the corners are so good at forcing them to the sideline.
Give it to Davis, and Davis trying the center of that red jersey defense, earning maybe a yard.
You know what I like about the offense so far they're seeing with Denver is the fact that, I mean, here's a team averaging 191 yards a game rushing, leading the National Football League. But yet they can come out here throwing the football. And what happens, he knows the defense is going to be stacked up for the run. Right. So, and the funny part about it is with Elway, now here's a situation he's used to, 3rd and short. That 3rd and 10 that he picked up, Elway told us yesterday, we haven't been in 3rd and long.
He couldn't remember one the whole year, 3rd and 10. Oh, wow.
This is 3rd and a short 3. Sharp open again. Bumped out of bounds by Mark Collins. 1st down, Denver. So it's a 10-play drive for the Broncos from the opening kickoff, and they're now at the Kansas City 17.
So what do you have to do now? Do you have to put the corners inside because you got your wide receivers and your tight ends that are beating up on the safeties and the linebackers?
You can see Shannon Sharp down at the bottom of the screen. You're right, giving him again, letting him go outside. What will happen, Paul? Kansas City will make an adjustment, but probably so will Denver. They'll start running across the field instead of going out.
Sharp from Savannah State. Protected well Elway. Another crossing pattern, this time Anthony Miller, and he's tackled by Anthony Davis.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not fair, and I'll tell you, Mike Shanahan and John Elway told us yesterday, we're going to see if we can hook up Sharp and Miller and anyone else on linebackers, and here's Davis trying to cover Anthony Miller coming across. Now, the play only picked up about 3.5 yards, but it still picked up positive yardage.
And you have to make that tackle for the 3.5-yard gain. Maybe somewhere later in this game, he breaks that tackle and he goes for 20.
Here's that same formation with Miller inside on the left and the running back Kramer on the outside. Elway had to throw it away. He was getting pressure from Keith Traylor, who played a couple of years in Denver, number 94.
Well, that time, James Hasty, he's a veteran. He realized, look, they've done it about 4 times so far, thrown passes to the slot receiver. He really gets up in the receiver's face, does not let him get open. Keith Traylor, the defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, number 94, has really been a surprise and outstanding so far this year for the defensive line.
The crowd rising to its feet to cheer on 3rd and 8. Elway guns it complete to Miller at the 6-yard line, first down. Dale Carter, and they go with the best defender in that secondary of the Chiefs, and nothing wrong with Elway's arm on that throw.
Yeah, his arm might have been a little suspect last week, but this week so far we're seeing some rockets come off, and Anthony Miller, excellent job of making Dale Carter think, I'm going outside. Then he goes underneath real quick, and John Elway sticks it in there.
Miller, who leads the Broncos coming into the game with 12 catches. He's to the right this time. First and goal at the 6. Davis, touchdown Denver. A huge hole for Terrell Davis. TD has his 3rd this year.
I'll tell you, Broderick Thompson, number 76, got a great block. I mean, that hole opened up and just nobody even touched him. This was too easy, Phil.
Well, they mixed it up very well, picked up some key 3rd downs. Really had the Kansas City Chiefs defense guessing, Paul. They didn't know whether it's run, pass, they're going outside or inside, and that's what you want to do as an offense.
Jason Elamon, who tried the point after, ruined the punter holes. Flags fly.
Well, they had too many.
Opening drive of this game with the opening kickoff. 14 plays. It took 7.5 minutes, and Terrell Davis punched it in from 6 yards on a well-blocked touchdown run. Elway 6 for 8 throwing the ball. Elam to kick it off. McNair and Anders are on the wings, and Jerome Woods, the rookie from Memphis, down at the goal line. High spinner that sends Woods into the end zone. Gonna gamble. Doesn't make it to the 20. The tackle made at the 18-yard line. Byron Chamberlain and Tim Houck on the stop. Back to the scoring play.
Kansas City Chiefs expecting a sweep left. Watch Mark Schlereth, Dan Saliomu, and Joe Phillips knock him out. And then Gary Zimmerman's going to clear the hole up the middle. Pulls the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at that block by 69 Mark Schlereth. Really clears it out.
I'll tell you, that didn't too easy.
You don't see too many holes like that in this Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Schlereth, who had knee surgery during the preseason, his 8th knee surgery. And now it's Kansas City's turn. And Marcus Allen gets the call, crosses the 30-yard line, a gain of about 3. Kansas City blockers, Alt, Zott, Brunard, Shields, Sigler. That middle of the line, Marty Schottenheimer raves about them. Marcus Allen with Kimball Anders in the backfield with Steve Bono. Penn and Hughes, the wideouts, as Vanover injured, not in uniform. Reggie Johnson, the tight end, the only tight end available. Cash and Walker are injured, and Lake Dawson, the former Notre Dame star, comes in the 3 wide. 2nd and 7. Marcus spinning, but there is Romanowski to make the play. Bill Romanowski with Alan Aldridge, the linebackers. If you were with us for the NFL pregame show on NBC, you heard about the new speed for Denver at the backer position. Williams, Lodish, Michael Dean Perry, and Alfred Williams, former Bengal and 49er. The front, Mobley, a heralded rookie from Kutztown. Aldridge and Romanowski. Crockett and Washington are the veterans at the corners, with Braxton and hard-hitting Atwater at safety. Hilliard and the rookie Torrey James from LSU come in the dime. first pass with a flag down. Incomplete. Kimball Anders had it. And now let's check the penalty. 3. And back to return Todd Kinchin, the former Ram. He's a valiant sort of return man. He doesn't like the fair catch.
No, he's not going to have to fair catch this one either. He's going to run it.
At the 33. And the second wave gets him right at the 40-yard line. The Denver Broncos have the ball again, leading 7-0 with 5:48 left in the opening quarter. Free right. Aaron Craver and Terrell Davis behind Elway. First down at the 40, leading 7-0. In the backfield is Craver as Dan Saliamua got a little more than 2 yards on that penetration.
It looked like Saliamua was going to take the handoff. I mean, they couldn't have touched him at all because Saliamua was in the backfield. He said to us yesterday he was going to have a good game against his team.
Wow, look at Carolina takes the early lead against the 49ers.
All right, here comes Saliamua. They tried to block down on him, Phil, and they couldn't block down on him.
Sometimes sweeping against teams that like to penetrate is very hard to go across the formation.
That was Zimmerman who missed a block, number 65.
Loss of 5 on the play and a flag down thrown. 15. Davis stays in the backfield. Again, Craver wide left with Miller inside. And they leave the backfield vacant. Elway, great protection. It throws the ball incomplete.
It's a fumble.
They're going to call that a fumble?
No, his arm's going forward, Phil. You can't.
Well, his arm went forward. I think the ball went backwards.
No, the ball went a little bit forward. We were talking.
That was the wind.
We were talking about to Elway yesterday about how in wet weather we thought last year in Denver he couldn't throw the ball. This looked like, I mean, he says he squeezes it. Look at this thing.
He must squeeze it so tight that it just pops out of his arm as he's going forward. And that is a fumble right there. That ball is coming out before his arm
You're absolutely right. It was going back. His arm was going backward.
The ball went forward. I think the official saw it as an incomplete pass.
Okay.
A break for the Broncos. 3rd and 15.
Sometimes early in the games, though, the footballs can have that, like a wax on top of them, and they can be slick, and maybe he called one of the bad ones.
Red Cashin with a word.
25-second clock is not functioning. It will be kept on the field by the field judge. The 25-40-second clock will be kept by the field judge.
So the quarterback's working at a disadvantage in that they can't look up at the scoreboard and see how much time remaining before the snap. 3rd and 15.
And Neil Smith is back.
Derek Thomas lined up on the left side. McCaffrey in motion. Here they come. Elway steps away and it's intercepted. Mark Collins, the former Giant, to the 35-yard line of Denver.
I think the ball just slipped out of John Elway's hand as he went to throw it down the field, but watch the blitz by the Kansas City Chiefs. Denver does an excellent job of picking up all the blitzers. John Elway, good patience, composure, steps up, and
But I mean, this ball, look at this thing slips out of his hand.
Yeah.
It just goes way high.
That's a squirter. I think he was throwing to the guy coming across the field. It squirted out of his hand and went high. And
Collins' second interception of the year. The turnover, that's the bread and butter of this Kansas City team. Marcus out. They had stopped him for no gain. He twists away for a pickup of 8.
I think just to go back to John Elway's throwing it sometimes, and I struggle, and it's a problem with a lot of quarterbacks around the league. The footballs are brand new. They got this seal on them or a sealant on them so the water doesn't absorb into them. And right there's no doubt that ball just squirted out of his hand, and I'll guarantee he's going to the sidelines looking at those balls, trying to get them rubbed up.
Did you write this down? This is called a squirter.
It's a squirter, no question. I threw a lot of them, Paul, I know.
Second down and 2. Allen again. Close to a first down at the 25-yard line. Romanowski and Aldridge, the linebackers, in on the stop.
I just one more second on this topic, but it always really confused me why in this game where the football is the most important part of it, I would think, that you have to have brand new footballs out of the box. They can't be rubbed up. They can't be where you can really grip them and throw them, but let's have them brand new. I never understood that rule.
Well, didn't we, when we did the Super Bowl last year, Dick, didn't these guys all go down and take the balls? We're talking to Neil O'Donnell, and they did some things.
Well, they let them touch them. They wouldn't let them break them in and get them right for the game, but they let them look at them and rub some of the sealant off the of the football so they weren't so shiny and slick. But still, they're not as good as they should be.
In other sports, baseball, the umpire
they rub them up.
They take some of the polish off. In basketball, you warm up with the basketball before you play with it.
They use practice balls. They go out to midcourt and say, "Do you like it? I like it. What do you think?" And they use old practice balls. And well, they say they do this rule. I'll tell you why. So kickers won't have such an advantage. But why ruin some part of the game, the throwing, to worry about a few kickers kicking at 5 extra
Nobody
yards?
worries about kickers,
No,
right,
yeah.
Paul?
I kicked, all we ever kicked were the old balls that they used. I never kicked a new ball until we got in the game. Those balls we just showed you down there, those were in Denver. Now, they don't bring the balls. The home team supplies the ball.
So you always ask the opposing quarter. I would go into visiting teams, and I'd look at I hope you guys fix those balls today.
But it isn't beneficial for both quarterbacks, though, to do
Absolutely.
that.
Sometimes it doesn't bother the quarterbacks, but most of them, it really is a problem.
Just short of the first down. Third down outside the 25. Marcus Allen easily picks up the first down yardage to the 23-yard line. That's Tony Richardson instead of Allen that they gave it to. Richardson, who rarely carries. In fact, that's only his second carry of this year. He had only 8 all of last season. Second year back from Auburn has the first down.
Dick, I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this Denver Bronco defensive line. They were pushing the offensive line back. I mean, there's been no room for Marcus Allen to run. He bounced off twice on running plays.
Bono, a rare throw, scramble, plenty of room. Chased by Atwater, and he wisely slides down at the 15 after an 8-yard gain.
Dick, he tucked the ball away.
Yeah, that's right.
He tucked his ball away. Folks, he's had so many problems, Bono, fumbling the football, won a game, but watch what he does when he steps up. Watch his hand, get around the ball. He's got his hand, and watch this. Tuck it away, slide, protect the ball. You bet. Marty was yelling at him from the sidelines.
Yeah, he heard him.
Officially a 7-yard scramble, 2nd and 3. Lake Dawson in motion. Greg Hill, second year back from Texas A&M, and he's hit in the backfield by Michael Dean Perry, who is playing at 275 pounds, he told us, the lightest since he was a college sophomore linebacker at Clemson.
You know who he really likes, though? Geathers, who comes in for him, number 79, Jumpy Geathers. He said, if I'd had this, he said, if I'd have had this guy when I played before, when I was with Cleveland, I'd played for 25 years.
That's right.
Loss of a yard on the play. 3 wideouts. And the blitz. They come through cleanly, and Bono is sacked.
Ray Crockett, I guess his arm's all right. Ray Crockett was in on the play. Comes on a corner blitz.
That shoulder feels better now.
Ray Crockett's going to come down in the bottom of your screen, and really what they do, they just send more people than Kansas City can pick up. Number 39 comes untouched. Steve Bono should have seen that as he's dropping back and throwing the ball to his left to the receiver, adjusting his route.
And Kansas City has seen Denver do that in the films. That's the 3rd sack this year for Crockett at corner. So the field goal try by Stoyanovich, 37 yards, and it is good. Denver 7, Kansas City 3, less than a minute remaining in the first quarter. Midwest, a blue sky. We haven't seen a cloud in the last 2 days plus. Experience the NFL all week long on NFL.com, the official website of the National Football League. For all the tackles, all the touchdowns, and a live game day scoreboard, click on NFL.com. Stoyanovich, Kansas City trailing 7-3 to Vaughn Hebron. A little daylight and sends it to the 34-yard line before Joe Horn can make the stop. Here comes Elway and the Broncos as you look at the other scores early games today.
I'll tell you what, Phil started at the beginning. Can the Denver Broncos play with the big boys that figure the #1 team in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs? And what we are seeing here in the first quarter is not only on offense but on defense. Both their lines, the Denver Broncos, have been doing the job.
Yeah, the big boys are going, wow, these guys are hitting hard today. We got to get, they'll step up now and realize that this is going to be a long fight.
47 seconds left in this first quarter. Terrell Davis. A gain of a yard. John Browning, the rookie from West Virginia, in on the tackle along with Brian Washington.
Kind of a strange play. You send a fullback one way and you run the halfback the other way. Then you don't have a blocker in front of him.
That could have been a blown play.
No, they're trying to change some tendencies and try to keep this Chiefs defense, which is smart, going to see the tendencies, try to follow the fullback. That time they crossed him up, didn't work.
Elway deep down the middle for Miller. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Just off the fingertips of the speedy Miller. 4 seconds left in this first quarter.
Anthony Miller is in the slot up top. Dale Carter is covering him. They like this formation because Dale Carter jumps outside. Now you can run across the field and gives John Elway a big target and a lot of room to throw the ball to.
Well, I'll tell you, that just missed.
Miller has been over 1,000 yards receiving the last 4 years. The big play man. 3rd and 8. Final play, first quarter. It's Shannon Sharp and too long as they brought Martin Bayless in. He's a safety that plays linebacker in pass situations. Elway had 2 men open on those final 2 plays. Couldn't find him. End of the quarter. Broncos 7. Kansas City 3. Doing some double and triple duty. He's the Kansas City answer to Deion Sanders. In fact, he's already earned a nickname. He's not Neon. They're calling him Fluorescent. He's back at the 25-yard line. Tom Ruin. Oh, does he hit this one? Drives it deep to the 10. Carter eludes 2 men and takes it to the 25-yard line. Good return by Dale Carter. 54-yard punt.
54-yard punt, 15-yard return.
Trailing 7-3. Bono and the Chiefs at their 25. Number 8, the offensive coordinator, sending down the play calls. Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, thinking about his next move.
Situation. This is a situation where everybody is covered, and this is just a dump-off guy, Kimball Landers, number 38. He has no one to block, so he just sets up in the pocket. Everybody's taken care of. He just slips out. A little relief for Bono, and picks up about 3 yards on the play.
Romanowski, who has been quite a pickup and leads the team in tackles, has a sack and an interception already. Stops Anders after a gain of 8.
Thank you, Dick. I said 3. It was 8.
Into the flat. Penn twisted down. Good defensive play by Ray Crockett. So Crockett, after the injured shoulder, comes up with a sack and now a tough tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Phil, is this supposed to be a little faster, this play?
Well, it's run against the wrong defense. Basically, the wide receiver, Chris Penn, is double covered. So Ray Crockett is allowed to be very aggressive at the line of scrimmage and come up. When you get a situation like that, a play like that is called, you got to go to the other side or check out of it.
No game. 3rd down and 7 for Bono, who has now completed his first 2 passes of the game. He's yet to be intercepted this year. 6 touchdowns for the first 3 games. No picks. Into the flat for Anders. He beats Romanowski. Kicks away from Romanowski's tackle. And finally brought down at the 28-yard line.
City Chiefs took a play out of the Denver Broncos playbook, spread the field, used one of the inside receivers to get a matchup. Bill Romanowski, number 53, trying to cover Kimball Anders out in the flat. It happens too fast. Romanowski too late. And seeing what's happening. Excellent run after the catch by Kimball Anders.
Marcus Allen returns with Donnell Bennett. First down. Pass for the tight end Johnson, who barrels his way to the 11-yard line. Tackled by Mobley and Romanowski.
The reason this play works, first of all, it's a good pass and an excellent catch. But when you run a play-action pass, which Bono does, and that freezes the linebackers, and all the tight end did was go down and get in front of the safety and back of the linebackers, and he's wide open.
It's a good thing it happened fast, and he was wide open because Michael Dean Perry came right in, almost unblocked, and Bono, excellent job of knowing the play, knowing where the receiver is going to be open, and gets rid of it fast.
Trailing 7-3, the Chiefs are threatened to the lead. Marcus Allen inside the 10-yard line to the 8. Romanowski and Mike Lodish collaborate on the stop. As the other scores, Green Bay and Minnesota, another battle today of the unbeaten, and Carolina by 17.
I tell you, that defense of Carolina still confuses everybody in the league, and Dom Capers has been doing it for years.
Their Giants are over the Jets 7-3.
Can't stop them. Oh, that's good.
Second down and 6. Bono to the end zone. Dan Hughes. Hughes, the former baseball and football star at Iowa. At 25 in his 4th year, he is the oldest wide receiver on the Kansas City roster. And a bullet from Bono, his 7th touchdown throw of the season. Kansas City has the lead. Stoyanovich trying to make it 10-7. First touchdown catch up. Danon Hughes touchdown 8 yards from Bono. Stoyanovich to kick it. Vaughn Hebron deep for Denver. Hebron from the 2. Big seam up the middle. 35-40. Runs right by the kicker. Caught from behind. Saving the touchdown was Martin Bayless, the veteran Bayless, catching Hebron from behind at the 45 of Kansas City. Back to the touchdown.
Good game planning by the Kansas City Chiefs. What they do, Kimball Anders comes across, brings the safety out of the middle. This lets Danon Hughes be single covered by Ray Crockett. Opens up a big hole inside. And an excellent job by Danon Hughes keeping his body in front of the defensive back. Steve Bono sticks it in there for the touchdown.
Knee down at the 50, a 48-yard kickoff return by Vaughn Hebron. Elway batted right back in his face. Vaughn Booker appeared to get a mid on it. The last time Broncos had the ball, remember, Elway was hit hard as he released a pass. And watch the elbow, right elbow. He lands on that wounded elbow that he hurt 2 weeks ago.
Look when he gets up. You can see the swelling in the elbow and the cut already on it.
But Elway was missed only 8 games in his previous 13 years in the league. He's the Iron Horse for the Broncos. 2nd and 10. Batted again, but caught by Sharp anyway, and a first down at the 38. Brian Washington with a tackle, and Shannon Sharp with another grab off a deflected pass.
Well, Elway went to the sideline and put a pad on his elbow to protect him now if he gets hit. Shannon Sharp coming right down the middle. Again, Tracy Simeon tips the ball, but where you want to attack the Kansas City Chiefs pass defense is inside because the corners are so tough, hard to get off the line of scrimmage, hard to get rid of the ball quick enough when you're throwing outside against Kansas City.
First down at at the 37-yard line. Elway has to throw it away. Miller had pulled up short, and Elway thought he might be hitch and go and throw it away.
You know what I really like about what's happening on this offense, and I'm telling you right now, is they've got an awful lot of confidence. Watch here's Terrell Davis. When he goes in motion, there's nobody back here with Elway. So that, to me now, looking back in here, it's all clear right in here, and it tells me that they have all the confidence in the world in their offensive line that they're going to block for Elway. They did. Someone just ran the wrong pattern.
Plows inside the 35-yard line, and 10 minutes remain in this first half. Elway, surprisingly, not using any protection on that elbow to start the game, but wearing one now.
Well, usually quarterbacks, you know, as your career goes along, you're looking for more and more equipment to protect you. So John went the safe way early, but he learned you got to have it on you to protect against those blows.
You could have stood guard at Buckingham Palace, the well stuff you had on. Third down and 7. Guns it. Sharp, incomplete, almost intercepted by Brian Washington, and he had his eyes on the goal line.
Excellent job by the Kansas City defense coming in. Again, sending more people than the Denver Broncos can pick up. John Elway recognizes it, so does Shannon Sharp. But the key is Brian Washington knows they can't pick it up. He breaks on the cut. And Elway really gets away with one right here.
53-yard field goal attempt by Jason Elam on its way. Is it long enough? No, it's wide to the right. May have had the distance, but missed to the right. It remains Kansas City 10, Denver. He was 6 for 6 coming in, and he's been very successful outside the 50. But when you miss the long field goal, the other team takes over in great field position, as is the case. Chiefs at the 43. Bono wide open on the near side is Lake Dawson, and a first down with his first catch of the game at the 39.
Phil, if you have a blitz on, shouldn't there be man-to-man coverage, and he shouldn't be that wide open?
Well, actually, they caught him in the perfect defense right there. They're blitzing. You can see the people inside coming. Kansas City does a good job of picking it up.
94.
Steve Bono recognizes it, and the defender is just way off on the outside. Ray Crockett knows it's a blitz. He's protecting against a big play. Kansas City, Lake Dawson fortunate. They have the perfect play on against a situation like that.
Steve Atwater with a vicious hit, and Dawson injured on the play. They spotted at the 40, just inside the 40-yard line. First down, Kansas City, and this is an area where Marty Schottenheimer can ill afford to lose another player. Already short with the injury to Tamarick Vanover. Atwater caught him. Dawson was looking ahead at Crockett and didn't see Atwater from the backside. Atwater coming over to Dawson to see if he's all right.
This might mean we might see a little bit more of Dale Carter in this ball game, the defensive back, the all-pro safety or corner.
Timeout with 9:04 left in the half. Notre Dame and Ohio State. The Buckeyes have scored 142 points in 2 games. And former Irish star Lake Dawson carted off. They were looking at his knee after the tackle from Atwater. First down, Chiefs, leading 10-7. Big Allen almost intercepted as the throw intended for Chris Penn was closer to Crockett.
Boy, Penn was open there for a second, and that ball was another one we see. We saw Elway throw it twice. One slips out of his hand, one's way high. This ball wasn't even close.
He definitely got away from Steve Bono right there. And the Denver Broncos being aggressive, really crowding the line of scrimmage and coming after the quarterback and challenging the Kansas City offense.
They're forcing them to throw the football. That's what they want. They want Bono to throw the ball.
Hughes left, and Penn wide left. In motion. They bring the blitz. Bono just does get it off as he was smacked by Dan Williams, number 90.
Phil, we're seeing that when people tell you 8 in the box, show them the 8 in the box. There's 8.
Well, here's the 8. You got 6 here and this, and the people are just coming free right here. Denver keeps pressing the issue, and I don't know what happened there. John Alt got a little confused, I think, which one to block. He thought the other guy was coming. He didn't come, and he let Dan Williams come free.
Well, actually, John Alt said, I'll take the corner, and you somebody else pick up the defensive end.
Yeah. Linemen should always pick up the big guys.
3rd and 10.
Stepping away from trouble and finding number 88, Victor Bailey, his first catch of the season. Bailey, in because of the injury to Dawson, has the first down.
Ray Crockett has him covered, but he looks back at the quarterback and sees Steve Bono step up, and he hesitates and lets Bailey get open. Bono, by moving in the pocket, made Ray Crockett, number 39, stop. Victor Bailey keeps running. That's the reason he was open.
A nice play by Bono, though. I mean, that to step up, the rush is coming and to make the play.
Some bragging rights finally in his own household for Victor Bailey, whose wife won a bronze medal in the Olympic Games. Bono, is it intercepted? Yes, it is. At the 21, Romanowski just backpedaling, and the ball thrown right to him.
Did you see Alfred Williams at the end of that play?
Well, what a pickup Bill Romanowski has been for this Denver team. He's a leader. He leads in tackles. He leads with his spirit and his attitude, and always seems to be in the right spot.
And Mike Shanahan tells us that he's a smart player, and I just never realized how fast he was. And the reason there, he just holds up Reggie Johnson so much, he just creates confusion in a traffic jam. Steve Bono panicked and threw it right into the crowd.
One-handed catch.
Romanowski's second interception for Denver, and it's the first time Bono has been intercepted this year. 10-7 Denver trails, and Davis again, no hole at all. The Chiefs have really stuffed this Denver running game that had produced an average of 190-plus yards a game in their first 3 wins.
All right, Dick, we sat down with Marty Schottenheimer yesterday, and he said, these guys are averaging 191 yards a game. He said, we have to hold the Denver Broncos to under 90 yards. If we do that, we win the football game. Well, we're looking at, there was a loss of 2 there, so they're down to 13 from 15.
Runs it. Incomplete. Anthony Miller trying to run before he caught it. Wide open.
Boy, that has just got to drive you nuts. First of all, you got to get the rush is on. You step out. You avoid all the rush by the defense. You find an open target, and an experienced football player, Anthony Miller, throw him the ball, and the guy wants to run before he catches it. Watch Anthony Miller right here. Look at his head. He's turning upfield and away from the ball.
Miller, who last week passed the 500 career catch mark. Elway, wide open field, being chased by Derek Thomas, and gets out of bounds at the 35 with the first down. So Old Duke can still motor enough to get a scramble first down. He's getting close to 3,000 yards rushing in his career.
What's funny is they were talking about his speed yesterday.
Yeah.
And Elway said, well, when I ran a 40, I ran it 4 or something. He didn't tell us exactly. He said, but I didn't have anybody chasing me, so I don't know how fast I really am.
That's a big play on 3rd and 11. Elway with the first down at the 35. Davis on his way. Can anyone catch him? 30, 20. Terrell Davis. Touchdown. 65 yards.
Was I just talking about the rushing?
Yeah.
Did I have down to 13?
This is what they're good at, though, Paul. This team, the one thing that impressed me is how they can just take it and run straight ahead. And this running back, Terrell Davis, loves going straight ahead. Just a little wiggle right there, and he sees a hole. Didn't realize he was so fast to be able to outrun the defensive backs.
Well, you know, talking to him yesterday, you talk about a nice man, Terrell Davis. But he said, we said, what do you need to improve on? He said, everything. And I said, well, where do you like to run? Outside? He said, I like to run between the tackles. I love it.
But you do not hear a lot of runners say that who have that type of speed.
Davis's second touchdown today as Elam adds the extra point. So Davis, 9 carries, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Davis, as we said earlier, leads the NFL coming in with 403 yards from scrimmage. And he peels off a 65-yard burst up the middle for his second touchdown today, and a 14-10 lead following the Bill Romanowski interception. And now Elam to kick it off. Jerome Moore deep. Jerome Woods. And Woods out across the 25-yard line as we go back to the touchdown. How did that work so cleanly?
2 reasons. Watch the center, Tom Nalen, blocked Joe Phillips, and 54, Tracy Simeon over pursues the play. Just makes the hole twice as big as you'd like to see it if you're a defensive coach or coordinator. And Terrell Davis, again, a north and south runner, gets through it quickly and shows that great speed.
You know, we talked to Marty about Nalen. He said this center can hold above and beyond anyone else. Yeah. Watch Tom Nalen blocking on Phillips. See this right arm? He's got him by the shoulder pad. That's holding. Marty says he does it better than anybody and more than anybody.
Oh, it's a seesaw first half, and now Kansas City trying to catch up down by 4. Greg Hill popped hard as he gets to the 34. As Steve Atwater from safety. Boy, you can hear his tackles. Michael Dean Perry there as well. As we see the other scores flick through. Carolina still by 17 after the 2-minute warning first half. Lake Dawson, the word is not good for Kansas City. He'll not return. They're doing x-rays now on right knee. Second and about 3. Long 3. Kimball Anders and Michael Dean Perry can't get him, but Alan Aldridge can. So Perry forced him to belly back farther in the backfield, and that allowed the loss as Michael Dean Perry with good penetration.
Phil, when Kimball Anders got the ball, all I saw were white shirts. I mean, Michael Dean was the first guy to slow him down. But look at the pursuit of this defense. Michael Dean gets in and forces Kimball Anders to go back to the outside right here. But now watch the white shirts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We talked penetration. They like to do it too, Denver. But we saw right there, we saw the speed of the linebackers of the Denver Broncos pursuing and getting there fast.
Loss of 3 on the play. Bono down the middle. Bailey was trying to get inside, and now a late flag.
You know what's nice about this Denver team is we were talking to the guys yesterday. They have no what they call superstars, no big heads on this team. This Bill Romanowski said this is one of the best teams I've ever played on as far as players getting along with each other.
Yeah, he said flat out, nicest group of guys I've ever played with. There are no egos here. They all pull for each other.
That's impressive in this day and age, and well, just about any sport, any team.
Romanowski is a model in terms of his training and work ethic. They respot the ball at the 5-yard line. And they give it inside, no gain to Terrell Davis. Dan Salimua and others up front. One big run as Terrell Davis breaking loose for 65 yards in that last drive for the touchdown.
And you know what's impressive and why that happens sometimes is the fact that they showed patience and they kept after the running game. Maybe in years past this Bronco team would have struggled early with the run and just forgotten it and thrown it every down.
Reminder that next Sunday the NFL on NBC features Saturday.
You know, the one thing when we did Kansas City before, and we did them a lot last year, the one thing about this team, Dick, is they're a very patient Kansas City Chiefs. They'll wait. They'll let you make mistakes. What I'm seeing now is a Denver Bronco patient football team.
But this is the area where Derek Thomas and Neil Smith usually make some headlines. Terrell Davis trying to get outside, gets around Carter, and has enough speed to pick up the first down at the 19-yard line. Terrell Davis, 207-pounder with speed and power. Let's go to New York.
All right, Dick, in Foxborough, the New England Patriots on a roll again. 31-0 winners last week. This is Curtis Martin, 4-yard touchdown. The extra point, it's a 19-0 New England lead over Jacksonville as they approach the 2-minute warning. Let's go back to Dick.
All right, Greg. First down as they spotted at the 18. The star of this half, Terrell Davis, 2 touchdowns, and he's about at the 100-yard mark. Now Aaron Craver, former Miami Dolphin. And Craver, who has averaged almost 6 yards a carry and picking up 159 yards the first 3 games, complimenting Davis. And one of the reasons why this Denver running game has moved to the top of the NFL.
You got to give, there's a lot of compliments you have to spread around for this Denver running game, but it has to start with the coach, Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach, because let's be honest, you look at the Denver offensive line and you say, well, this is not, it's not a who's who. It's not like the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, and they've changed their attitude. They work at it, and they believe they can power and run that football.
Approaching the 2-minute warning. Davis again, big hole, 30 to the outside, 40, and Davis to the 43-yard line. Dale Carter finally makes the tackle at the 2-minute timeout. Terrell Davis. You know what might be the answer? He's getting that, he used to sleep 14 hours. What did he say? He's down to
10 to 12 hours now.
There it goes. There it is.
He's a veteran now. He doesn't need as much.
Listen to him, Paul. Listen to him. 95 draft, the 196th player taken, Terrell Davis, the 21st running back, right after Detroit selected Corey Schlesinger and Dino Filial went to the Pats. Denver took Terrell Davis. His idol was another TD, Tony Dorsett, and he went to the same high school that produced Marcus Allen, Lincoln High School in San Diego, California. He said, yeah, there was a shrine right there in the hallway reminding us about Marcus Allen.
He also told us yesterday, I said this before, that we asked him what do you have to improve on. If there's one thing, he said everything. I don't think he has to improve on his running.
Yeah.
That's 121 yards, 10-yard average.
How could a man like that be overlooked?
Well, that's it. I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he didn't have that 4.4 speed in the 40. I really don't know what, but I know he got hurt his senior year, so that knocked him down a little in the draft.
He slept through the draft, so no one knew who it was.
First down, Denver at the 44, leading 14-10. Dump off to Craver. And Craver's to midfield. Tracy Simeon, the tackler, a gain of 6.
Tackled by Tracy Simeon.
Timeout Denver, but you know, Dick, I'll get you in a minute.
Okay. First we have to pay some bills. Incomplete. Shannon Sharp had not looked for the ball as yet, covered by Tracy Simeon.
They wiped out the umpire on that play. He's stepped up and took a blow.
Well, Denver lined up Anthony Miller in the slot. Watch him down here. He's going to crow across the field, hoping to create a traffic jam, and they do this time. Watch right. Well, you can't quite see it on your thing, but Anthony Miller picked off James Hasty with the referee that time, and he was wide open.
What a double dipper.
Absolutely.
Davis, keeps his balance and picks up the first down. They had him tripped up. Martin Bayless finally secured the tackle. I believe Sally Amua had a mid on him and forced him to stumble, but he staggers forward for 6 yards in the first down. Well, a lot of folks, they heard of Terrell Davis, but Curtis Martin was the man who won the AFC rushing championship, and he, too, a third-round pick by New England. And Davis sat very quietly last year, ran for 1,117 yards, and that in itself was something because no running back in NFL history has ever rushed for that many yards to be that late a draft round pick.
You know, it is amazing because they talked about, we did them in Dallas, I guess, last year, and they came in and they said, Terrell Davis, this guy seems to be a great player. We all kind of look back, Terrell Davis, who's Terrell Davis? But when you look what this young man has done, it's just incredible. But, you know, the thing about this team, it starts with the offensive line. It really does. Those guys up front are doing a great job. And even Marty Schottenheimer said, I look at their offensive line of a team. The Denver Broncos, have a very good offensive line.
1:39 left in the half. And not much there.
It reminds me a lot, this offensive line, the way they're running the ball, Paul, just what Miami's doing this year. You know, not noted to be a running football team. But they went in there, they got the attitude, we're going to teach them, we're going to get it done. And Alex Gibbs, he's the architect of this Denver Bronco running game. And the patience they show with it is the reason it keeps working.
Good protection for Elway. And now it breaks down, and the sack will go to Smith, and a fumble as well. Neil Smith with his first sack today, and I believe Elway covered his own fumble.
You know something? What I think is going to happen is that Keith Traylor is going to get the sack. And you know why? Because Smith really did not hit Elway. Elway tripped. They never blew a whistle or anything. They let Elway on the ground. Watch what happens here. When Elway goes in, Smith is underneath. Now, when he steps outside, see, he's not knocked down. They're not even doing anything. He picks up the ball. Keith Traylor falls on him. He will get credit for the sack.
Yeah, but Smith did get enough of him to throw him off balance. Maybe they'll share that one.
Neither one of them's going to be happy, whatever happens.
Denver with one timeout left. 40 seconds remain. 3rd and long. Derek Thomas can't get Elway, and Elway finally tripped up. That'll be a sack for Vaughn Booker as Elway tackled 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Clock continues to run as 4th down comes up, and Kansas City does not spend one of its 2 remaining timeouts.
Let the clock run down to a few seconds left, and you throw one in the end zone on 4th down and run out the first half.
Yeah, they still have one timeout. The Denver Broncos, you can go ahead and take it. The Kansas City Chiefs don't want to take it.
And they might be doing that.
That was not a sack. Elway did get beyond the line of scrimmage on 3rd and long. Boy, he left a wake behind him, didn't he? And so they let the final seconds tick off the end of the first half, and a most entertaining, exciting first 30 minutes of football here at Arrowhead. Interception aside as we're underway. Kansas City gets it first here in the second half. Jerome Woods takes the kickoff from Jason Elam and returns out to the 24-yard line. Jim Gray?
All right, Dick. Well, I spoke to Marty Schottenheimer. He said Terrell Davis is an excellent back. In fact, he's the best back in the NFL right now. To stop him, we're going to have to control the line of scrimmage, and so far we haven't. Says we must apply our schemes much more better and much more aggressively here in the second half. Now, as for Mike Shanahan, he told me he's going to keep handing the ball to Terrell Davis. Said he was upset that they missed some opportunities offensively, and he says as far as the second half is concerned, we're going to continue to be very aggressive defensively. Dick?
All right, thanks, Jim. Marcus Allen and Kimball Landers behind Bono. They start at the 25. Bono comes out throwing and hitting. Chris Penn at the 38-yard line, tackled by Mobley and Crockett.
And I believe the reason for that play, to get these guys off the line of scrimmage. I mean, they've got to get them to get that 8-man front away from them.
No question, Paul. Right then, Steve Atwater, he was 3 yards from the line of scrimmage in the box by the guards and tackles. So they're going to make the Kansas City Chiefs come out, throw the ball outside to beat them.
Gain of 13 on the catch by Penn, who played at Tulsa, where his quarterbacks were T.J. Rubley and Gus Frerotte. Both made it to the NFL. Marcus Allen, not much of a story today. Tackled by Alfred Williams. Big Money Williams. Big Money? Yeah, they called him Big Money when he signed with Cincinnati as the #1 pick. Didn't trust the banks. He put all his paychecks and money under his pillow.
Not a bad under his pillow, I tell you. That's awesome.
Big money. His own money.
He has 4 forced fumbles in 3 games this year, and that's a welcome addition, and 3 sacks to lead Denver. Bono out of the backfield. Allen sidesteps one and another and drives to the 44. It'll be 4-yard shy of a first down. Romanowski finally got him.
You know, not to keep harping on it, but that time the Denver Broncos doubled the wide receivers. He throws the ball out of the backfield, Steve Bono to Marcus Allen. But you could see how many people got out there to try to make the tackle for the Broncos. Last year or 2 years ago, he would get 10 yards before the first defender could get to him. That time he had to dodge 3 of them to get past the line of scrimmage.
Team speed on defense. Huh?
Yeah, that's what's changed in this league. Defensive players, it's all about speed now.
Todd McNair in the backfield for Allen. He's in motion. 3rd and 4. And unable to make connections with Chris Penn. And Bono had to hurry. Again, the pressure right up the middle. Dan Williams and Jumpy Geathers.
And Bill Romanowski also there. I mean, look at when you see Bono, Phil, he doesn't have time to even look.
Look at the number of people by the Denver Broncos at the line of scrimmage. And you're right. It confuses the blocking assignments for the offensive linemen getting to the quarterback quickly. Mike Shanahan told the truth. He says, we're going to continue to be aggressive.
Louis Aguiar to punt. 3rd time. Todd Kitchen at the other end. Brother Brian, the tight end, in Baltimore. Dying spiral. Tough to handle. Kitchen at the 15. 20, 25, 30. And chase from behind. Nice cut. He's all the way to the Kansas City 45-yard line. Turn positions Elway and the Broncos at the Kansas City 45. First possession, second half. 5 in the pattern. Elway underneath to Shannon Sharp. And he is tumbled by Tracy Simeon at the 40-yard line. A gain of 5. Todd Kitchen, who was acquired, a late trade made between the Rams and Broncos. Always been a fine kick returner. Has a couple of touchdowns in his NFL career. Good bloodlines. His dad, Gus, was a member of the national champion LSU team, the Chinese Bandits at that Bayou Country. They celebrate a very big win today. Terrell Davis stumbles and gains only a yard. Joe Phillips and Sally Moore and the big boys up front stop him. Here's what Terrell Davis has done in the game by direction. That right tackle run and the sweep right that have really been the big ones for the Broncos. 65 yards off right tackle for the touchdown, his second touchdown.
But when you talk about this offensive line of the Denver Broncos, I mean, the guys you mentioned are Zimmerman and Schlereth, and then, you know, it's all the running is on the other side of Thompson and Habib.
3rd and 3. Guns incomplete. Dale Carter covering Anthony Miller. Let's see if Elam will try a long field goal. They went for a 53-yarder the first half.
Excellent job by Dale Carter, number 34 on the defense. Sees the inside route, has a little hold there, but really presses inside. Once he sees the receiver cut inside, tries to drive towards the ball.
Chris Penn being used in this punt return situation is Tom Ruin with a line of scrimmage of 38. Will try to pooch one. Yeah, he hits it full. And a fair catch by Penn at the 13-yard line. Oh, the Chiefs get the ball back. 11:08 left in the 3rd. Denver leads by 4. Central on NBC. Denver was a spot in show business for Dennis. That's the premiere tonight.
I tell you, I don't know. I can't agree with you guys. I'm just not crazy about the tattoos.
Paul, you like anything? I did not say anything.
You told me you like those tattoos. You were thinking of getting one.
Yeah. Now where you can see it.
No gain on first down for Marcus Allen. They give him a yard, but actually gained maybe a foot. Still at the 14-yard line. It off. Nice move by Andrews. First down. Romanowski finally gets him down at the 30-yard line. Ray Crockett, man that was unable to tackle the receiver. A flag is down.
This is what this Kansas City Chiefs off
face pass, but there isn't there. And then look at Romanowski's feet. He tries.
He kicks him.
He trips him.
Yeah, he was going for the trip, the kick, whatever, to get him down.
That's legal, isn't it? No, it isn't.
No, it's not. No foul, though, there.
First down at the 30 for Kansas City. They trail 14-10. Under 10 minutes left in the third quarter. A little misdirection and has a 5-yard pickup. Marcus, who had a couple of touchdowns in Seattle last week to give him 105 rushing scores. He's one behind second place Jim Brown and only 5 behind Walter Payton's all-time record.
You know, when you look at Kansas City, as many times as we've done them, Phil, they just don't open up with a real big play anywhere. They are about as patient a football team as I've ever seen. They're just going to take what you give them, 4 and 5 yard you to death.
Eyes of Allen looking at that defense. Play action fake. Bono ball as he tries to find Chris Penn. And the Bluebirds here at Arrowhead Stadium. Hackett, the play caller, on the right.
Well, the chance was again there for a sizable game. The Denver Bronco defense crowding the line of scrimmage, so deep passes over the middle could be open for the Kansas City offense, just not able to connect. But that's the one thing they talk about. Paul Hackett has told me this offense, they need more big plays. Make it easier. You just can't drive down the field anymore 80 yards, 10 and 12 plays for those scores.
3rd and 5. Going on the pressure again. Gets it off. First down to Todd McNair. McNair, who started with the Chiefs in '89, was sent off to Houston for a couple years, has returned. Always a solid receiver out of the backfield.
I'll tell you what he does is so smart. Watch what McNair does after he catches the football. He knows he has 2 more yards. Turns it straight upfield, leans, and gets the first down.
Atwater and Romanowski, 2 good hitters to make the stop at the 42-yard line, a gain of 7. Marcus Allen returns. Again, if you're just joining us, Lake Dawson, injured knee, out for the game. Not quite able to get through the tackle of John Mobley, the rookie from Kutztown, with Ray Crockett supporting. There's Mobley, highly touted. He was the 15th pick, and many of the coaching staffs around the NFL salivated in watching the films on him in college.
Yeah, but when they were talking about it, you ask about Mobley, how's he doing?
Yeah.
He said he's hitting people.
Yeah, he hits.
Sometimes he hits the wrong ones, but he is moving. He goes to the football. He's learning.
Still green, but tremendous athletic talent. But not much there. He's to the 49-yard line. Dan Williams and Atwater make the tackle. Denver really excited the fact that Dan Williams, their defensive end, who was the #1 pick, finally healthy. And they feel he has tremendous potential.
That's helping. But look right here. 8 people up near the line of scrimmage. The safety, Dennis Atwater, is right up here, too. They are going to force, Steve Atwater, they're going to force the Kansas City Chiefs. Like you said, they want them to go outside and throw the football.
Another 3rd down and 3. He looks for Allen, but can't find him. Michael Dean Perry. Explosive blast into the backfield for the sack, his 3rd of the season.
I don't care who the quarterback is on any football team, Phil, and you know this. I mean, when you have this much pressure on you every single down, every time Bono throws the ball, somebody hits him. And here it is before he throws the ball, Michael Dean Perry making a play on him. But, I mean, it's got to get in your brain.
On the last 3rd down, Paul, the completion he got for the first down, Alfred Williams and Michael Dean both hit him. And right there, Michael Dean just blowing Will Shields off the ball, overpowered him.
He'll be able to talk to his neighbor Joe Gibbs, who lives just 2 houses away, about that. Aguiar very high, hoping Pinson will fair catch. He has to, and does at the 22-yard line. Denver back with the ball. The Broncos lead.
Watch Will Shields' feet in the red. Watch him come off the ground. Michael Dean takes it back. Now up in the air. He's off balance. Now he's got him inside, sack. I mean, that's he may only be 275, Mr. Enberg, but he's a strong 275.
Oh, you like Michael Dean Perry, admit it.
Yes,
He's one of your favorites.
He and I are cute.
At the 22-yard line. Elway, great play action. Wide open and sharp. 35-40. The tight end is to the 49-yard line in Chiefs territory. Oh, did that play fool the Chiefs defense?
What happened? The Kansas City Chiefs played run all the way, Shannon Sharpe is right here. Watch the safety come up, try to stop the running play. And this is what happens when your offense has success running. Look at that. Nobody on Shannon Sharpe.
He could have had Craver also. He ran a bootleg, and Craver, the fullback, was sitting out there by himself also.
Anthony Miller to the left and McCaffrey to the right. Now it's Davis. Big hole. And one man, Mark Collins, saved another touchdown as Davis had threaded his way into the secondary, a gain of 9 more.
The one thing about Terrell, he says he loves to run inside the tackle zone. You know why, Dick? Because once he gets through here, look, he's only got one guy to beat. Once Simeon misses here, 54, that's all he has to do is beat the safety. If he does that, it's another touchdown. That's why he loves it in there. I mean, you don't have to run through a whole lot of people going straight ahead.
Marty Schottenheimer might be right. This might be the best running back in the NFL. He is impressive looking.
141 yards today, and we have 5:45 left in the third. And Craver in there, and Craver with a call is close to the first down at the 39, and let's see where they spot it. Maybe 38. That it will be another Denver first down. This brilliant day and a magnificent crowd, the 4th largest in Kansas City history, 79,439. And if you don't wear red here, you're ostracized. And you know that can hurt Paul.
That's right. Well, Paul just does it with his face. His red face.
From the 38. Away, incomplete. Intended for Sharpe, and the fly goes down. Simeon, early contact, apparently.
Well, no, it's not so much the early contact. It's the left arm. I mean, when you see a guy that close, the first thing the official looks at is the left arm. Because if you're reaching with your right to knock it away, that left arm is usually around the waist of the receiver.
Pass interference. Number 54 on the defense. First down.
Tracy Simeon here. Now watch when Sharpe, number 84, he goes inside and he breaks back outside. Watch the left arm. See the left arm around his back. Now the official behind is the one that calls it. You cannot put your arm on the man.
The short interference penalty to the 34-yard line. 5 minutes left in the third. Denver by 4. Another bootleg. Another wide-open tight end, Sharpe. He has a first down at the 22. Same play, and it works again. Greg Minuski playing at linebacker in on the tackle along with Mark Collins.
Phil, yesterday when we were talking to Bono said to us, hey, look on game day, the coach, Shanahan, is the smartest man I've ever seen on game day. Now, he's talking about when he was in San Francisco. Here's the play.
Well, again, just taking advantage of the fact of running the ball so well. And Greg Minuski, hey, you're a linebacker. Your job is to stop the run most of the time. He can't do both right there, and that's why Shannon Sharpe was so wide open.
Inside the 20-yard line, Dale Carter comes up from a corner to make the tackle. You know, that going back to that pass to Sharpe that has worked, boy, is that reminiscent of Montana rolling out off a play-action fake and throwing to the tight ends with the San Francisco 49ers.
He used it well when he was the offensive coordinator with the 49ers, Mike Shanahan, and he has kept it with the Denver Broncos, and he does it a variety of ways. And actually today, this is a different way of doing it towards the tight end, faking and going towards the tight end.
Craver smothered, no gain. Joe Phillips had his 310 pounds plus on him. Phillips is a practicing lawyer, as is his wife, who has just written a new book, Chiefs in Justice. Well, actually, I guess Joe is the author, with credits to the wife.
It's very smart giving your wife credit. You know that?
That helps.
They usually do the work. Right? And the guy takes the credit. 3rd and 7. Elway shotgun. Sharpe makes the catch, holds on as Brian Washington with a tough tackle. It'll be just shy of the first down. Now, here's an interesting call for Mike Shanahan. He's about 4th and maybe a yard. Paul, you're the expert on those yard. What is it, a half yard or a yard?
He's about a half a yard out. If they had to get the ball to the just outside the 12, and they're just inside the 13. So, but, you know, here's the situation. They're going to go for it. I mean, you're only up by 4. Don't you want to go to 7? But
you only get so many scoring opportunities against a defense like this, and I just wonder will they take the chance and fake the run and go for the touchdown right here with the pass.
They got 10 men up on defense.
They almost threw him offside. That's what this is all about. This isn't going to be a throw. They almost took the bait, the Kansas City defense, and now the field goal unit comes on.
Was that Von Booker, number 99, that leaned in?
One of his teammates grabbed him by the britches and pulled him back.
It's up on the top side. Watch
the linebacker come up.
Whoa.
He's over.
No, they snapped the ball. They've got him.
But the problem with that is you're afraid sometimes you snap and they don't call it, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah, but he was way off. That's where the center has certainly got to have that peripheral vision and looking down the line of scrimmage. If he sees that guy across, boy, snap the ball. It doesn't make any difference. They've got him.
So it'll be a 34-yard field goal attempt by Jason Elam. He missed from 53 in the first half. Missed to the right. This one hits the upright. No good. Misses left. So after a perfect 6-for-6 start in this season, Elam misses 2 today. 14-10. Kansas City takes over at the 25. Quickie complete to the tight end Reggie Johnson, out to the 31. John Mobley makes the catch. You saw the emotional Schottenheimer, and he really wears his feelings on his sleeves. And we were talking with him on yesterday, and he started to relate to the team last year in the playoffs, and he almost began to cry. And I said, "What's in there, Marty?" And he said, "You know, you never get a team like that again. There was such a special group of players. It's not the losing. It was the fact that I'd never had a group of men that were so good." Second down and 4. Greg Hill, no play action to Hill. Now down the middle, complete and then caught by Penn, and then he drops it again. Penn on the second chance had it, and it was knocked away by veteran Lionel Washington. And Phil Simms and Schottenheimer, you could really relate to this with your team and the team of leaders you had with the Giants. Yes. When he gave the analogy of the coaches, all he is at the rudder. It's the men with the oars.
He said right, everybody's moving those oars, and if somebody in front stopped, he didn't have to stay from the back, go start rolling it. His team, the other rowers, would say, get back, start doing your job, and that's what he had last year. He had a team that coached itself. He just stood back and watched it because they had leaders and they were driven.
That's why most of this team re-signed in his back. It has the least turnover of any NFL team. Bono under pressure, gets it off. So Kane and Hughes, and he has a first down at the 38. Aldridge and Braxton, the tacklers.
I'll tell you what, you know, he's completing a pass, and Penn drops the ball, and Hughes just makes the catch. But Bono really doesn't have any time, Phil. I mean, this guy's going to be about as sore as you're ever going to be after a football game. Every time he throws, he gets nailed.
It's a blitz again, and Kansas City does a good job of warding some of them off. But what is going to happen, he's throwing under pressure, and sooner or later, you make a big mistake when you keep throwing under this kind of pressure.
Minute of the third quarter, 14-10 Denver leads. Greg Hill, and Hill, who has a burst of speed, the native of Dallas, Texas, who leads actually the Chiefs in rushing this year with 116 yards and a 4.8 average. A little better than that average, a 5-yard carry on first down, final seconds of the quarter. And the final line on Schottenheimer last at Arrowhead Stadium, 79,439, rooting most of them for the Chiefs who trail by 4 entering this fourth quarter. And Greg Hill motors to within a yard of a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1 at the 47-yard line.
We've been through 3 quarters, and we've talked about it a lot. And you said it at the beginning of this game, Phil, and I'm really impressed with the speed of this defense of them. I mean, there's not one guy making a tackle. You've got 2s, 3s, and 4s.
3rd and a full 1. As Mobley and Aldridge and Romanowski dig in at linebacker. Michael Dean Perry jumping at the cadence of Steve Bono, and you can hear it on our NBC microphones. He goes, and Perry went for the exaggerated sound.
He's been doing it all day, and I'm surprised they haven't jumped off before.
Before the snap, encroachment. Number 95 on the defense, 5 yards, first down.
What's the difference between encroachment and offside?
You could watch Michael Dean Perry jumps off inside.
Well, he saw Dan Williams on the outside move, and I think that's what made him move.
That does make him a little edgy and spurs your other teammates on to get off with you.
Gives Kansas City a first down at the Denver 49. Minute gone, fourth quarter. Fake to Marcus and knocked down by Alfred Williams. Williams, who was a high school basketball star in Houston, and he rejected that attempt.
Excellent job. Look at the number of people at the line of scrimmage. 9, not 8. They have 9 up top now. And an excellent job of being patient. Alfred Williams knows he has to contain to his side, doesn't go for the fake, stays there, and that's the reason why he knocks down the pass.
The only problem is if that pass gets over the top, even as a floater, it's a long gainer.
Williams was replaced Simon Fletcher at that position. Fletcher retiring after a brilliant career in Denver. No one in the backfield. The ball throws incomplete, intended for Victor Bailey. Ray Crockett was there.
You know, I get a feeling sometimes, there are a couple of passes that Bono has thrown that even if you're 6'12", you're not going to catch him. But I got a feeling you got some receivers that aren't going in the right spot. Now watch Bailey when he comes out here. Is he in the right spot or not?
I think he is. What happens? He stumbles a little, but also Steve Bono rushed himself, and that happens to a quarterback when you're used to getting hit on a lot of passes. Now you say, hey, I better get rid of this one a little faster. And that time, that's why I went high.
Dale Carter, who has one catch today, out wide right. 3rd and 10. They pick up the blitz, but they can't find the tight end Johnson, incomplete. So there's no question the game plan defensively to put heavy heat on Steve Bono at some risk has been effective.
Big risk. Everybody's coming. Tyrone Braxton, the defensive back. Linebackers coming.
Atwater's coming.
Only 3 people back covering the receivers. Steve Bono has to get rid of it before he's ready. Nobody's open when he lets it go.
You can't boo him. I mean,
that's right.
He has about a second to get rid of the ball. Todd Kinchin, who has a 40-yard punt return back at the 10. That's Aguiar. Sends a wobbler. Kinchin on the run. He can return this one. 30, and down he goes at the 31-yard line. Oh, he's not afraid to take a chance. Kinchin, I bet he was a good outfielder in high school. Timeout.
You see the defensive guy goes beyond, and Kitchen heads up. He knows nobody can tackle him, so he just catches the ball. That's a heads-up play. Dick, you were saying most guys let that thing drop, not this guy.
So it's a 30-yard punt, 13 returns, so only 17 net, and the Broncos start at the 31, leading 14-10. Play action for Elway. No one open. Elway scrambling and down at the 34 with a gain of 3. Well, John Elway, while he has been brilliant throughout his career in the fourth quarter, this year the fourth quarter has reached up and bit him. He's thrown 10 passes, completed only 6, and 3 intercepted with the second worst rating of any AFC quarterback. But they've won those 3 games.
That's right.
Quarterbacks just don't care anymore. I mean, if we're winning, that's fine. But if that was happening and they were losing, now you got some problems.
Always yardage, not as much as his running back, Terrell Davis, who gets the call. And is hit hard by Carter. Dale Carter showing why he's an all-pro corner. He can cover man. He's not afraid to come up and make a tackle. And he's made some contributions on the offensive side as well.
Every time you see this team play, and I know every announcer says that, you said it once before, that Marty Schottenheimer says that he's been around this thing for a long, long time. This is the best athlete he has ever coached.
No gain on the play. 3rd and 7. received some sacks and forced fumbles. Has another 10-yard loss on the play.
It's a good job of the Kansas City defense. They put a lot of people at the line of scrimmage. Derek Thomas against Terrell Davis. Boy, that is a mismatch.
It really is. And I guess Terrell now he's going to work on his blocking. But, you know, actually he did hit him at the line of scrimmage.
Tom Rowan to punt with Dale Carter back. And Rowan sends a brilliant spiral all the way back to the 19. Carter with a dance. Corralled by Hawk, and Tim Hawk, the veteran safety, makes the tackle. We're watching the NFL on NBC. The West continue, and the Denver Broncos lead 14-10. Derek Thomas with his first sack to slow the Bronco offense, but because of that punt return by Kinchin, a 30-yard difference in field position for Steve Bono, who throws underneath and gets some short yardage to the 26-yard line to tight end Johnson. Steve Atwater, the tackler. Reggie Johnson, who played at Florida State, had 3 catches in the first 3 games, but he's back up to Keith Cash and Derek Walker, both out with injuries.
Well, look at Romanowski and the addition here. Romanowski gets picked up by Aldridge, by his own man, but here he is. Sees the man going down. You know, a lot of guys stop when they see a guy making a tackle, and that's how you get missed tackles when a guy runs for a long distance. This guy stays there.
2nd and 6. Hill can't get outside. Romanowski wouldn't let him go to the corner and pins him for a loss.
Well, see, again, here's we're talking about with this guy. First of all, he was in the middle. Now he's coming back to the outside. They say, is this guy everywhere? Yes, he is. Watch this play. Stays there, cuts Hill off, forces him back inside, and then makes the tackle himself.
Brings up 3rd down and 8. Romanowski, who has a couple of Super Bowl rings with the 49ers. 8 years in the NFL. This is his 9th. Never missed a single game.
And playing the way he does, that's surprising because he doesn't, he's not scared to throw his body around.
In motion. And Bono has to throw it away as Glenn Cadrez was coming in on the blind side.
There's a trend right here, and it's called blitzing, and Denver's doing it every 3rd down. And watch the outside. Look at all the people that are going to come for the Denver Broncos defense. Kansas City just cannot account for the numbers. Steve Bono recognizes the trouble right away, but Kansas City, you've got to make an adjustment. Keep some people in. Tighten the formation up so you have a chance to go down the field against man coverage.
But they can't go to 2 tight ends because they don't have to.
Keep one receiver in, a tight end, and need a back pick. That's how you do it.
Aguiar to punt. Kinchin stands at the 30.
Only has the word 10 times.
Kinchin checking the blocking. 28. 30. And out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Martin Bayless made the tackle. A 47-yard punt. 9 on the return. Denver still up by 4. Broncos defensive gambling, using a lot of blitzes, but when you play with what you got, and Kansas City doesn't have 2 tight ends, and they don't have their 2 top receivers now, Dawson and Vanover. So they got to play to that.
Hey, that's right. You got to do it. That is smart. The receivers are not a big threat to the Kansas City Chiefs, so why not blitz?
Elway starts from the 41. Davis can't get outside, and he's smothered by Derek Thomas for a loss.
But you know who makes the play? A guy you only mentioned his name one time. Somebody got drilled in this backfield.
Ed McCaffrey upfield gets up slowly.
But we talked about Neil. You only mentioned his name once, I think, in the first half, Neil Smith. But he's the guy that really makes the play. Watch 90 coming up the field. Here he is when he forces Davis to go outside. There is Thomas to make the play. You know, this is what defenses do as a group, as a team.
Loss of 3. Craver and Davis behind Elway. Craver to the 40. Just a gain of a couple, and Broderick Thompson is slow getting up. Right tackle for the Broncos.
Neil Smith, it looks like he was in a ring fighting with Thompson. He comes off the line. Watch his arms when he comes off the line. Watch him swinging. There's a right, a left, a right. Try to get around. Thompson does a great job, but then he trips on his own man, I think, and his leg went out.
Somebody fell on the back of his legs as Neil Smith was turning the corner.
Like Mike Tyson there for a second, didn't he?
Right. Nice call, yeah. Clem McCarthy or Don Dunphy there, yeah. Nice call.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thompson, who didn't play football until he went to college, went to nearby Kansas, being helped off the field. We'll take this commercial break.
Well, I hope he can use that as a parachute when they throw him over the side.
A brave soul. Third down, 11. 9 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. And the new right tackle, Reggie McElroy, for Elway. And again he moved. So did the Bronco defense. The penalties means this crowd is as noisy as it's been all day. Elway goes long. And it's broken up. Brian Washington.
Is that the pattern when you have the tight end and the wide receiver in the same spot? I've never really seen that play ever designed before, where two guys are together.
John Elway does the right thing, stepping up in the pocket. He's looking for the big play to put the icing on this game. Excellent play by Brian Washington, seeing the ball and reacting to it.
With 8.5 minutes left, ruined a punt. Chris Penn back at the 25. And it's returnable. 30. And to the 34-yard line. Chris Penn, 45-yard punt, 8 on the return. Let's check on action elsewhere.
If they lose this game, I wouldn't want to be at the practices next week.
Kansas City trailing by 4. Heels in motion, play action. Caught by Penn, first down at the 47. At one of the tackles.
Now, this is the first time in a long time in this ball game, and I'll say over an hour, where this guy's had a chance, Bono, to step up and throw the ball.
Well, it's a good first down, coming out, play action fake, freezes the linebackers, well, creates a huge hole behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. Watch Chris Penn, number 81. You can see, look at the space in front of him and how long it takes the safety to come up and make the tackle.
Third catch for Penn. Another blitz, and Alfred Williams got a piece of that one. So that's the second knockdown for Williams.
Well, Alfred Williams, again, really just showing discipline, not going for the fakes away from him, waiting until the play comes back to him. And that's the success of any defense. Everybody knowing their job and just doing their job. Don't try to create the plays. Let them come to you.
See, Alfred really realized, Williams knows that he does not have a linebacker out there, so he's responsible for anything wide to his side. So if he's going to pass rush, he's going to pass rush from the outside.
Right up the field.
Second and 10. Here they come again. A run, and Allen has some running room. They crossed him up, and he almost had a shot for a touchdown. Tripped up at the 40. Braxton and Crockett got enough with Marcus Allen, but they beat the blitz with a run that time.
Well, the Denver Broncos are showing, they're blitzing everybody, but what happens, look at all the people coming, but what happens, somebody gets out of their rush lane, and that creates the hole for Marcus Allen. And when you have everybody at the line of scrimmage, if you get past it, look out. They're lucky it didn't go all the way.
Kimball Anders, number 38, got a tremendous block in the hole on the linebacker, Aldridge, and that was it.
Allen stumbles forward. No gain on this one as Michael Dean Perry submarined. Number 95. 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Denver leading 14-10. No scoring in the second half.
You know, crowds are fickle. You know that. I mean, you look, they cheered when Allen did. Now he runs, it gets quiet.
Yeah.
It gets loud. Got to stay at a steady pace.
Penn to the left, Dean and Hughes to the right. Tight end is on the right side, Johnson. Play action. Bono. First down at the 23. 16 on the play.
Now that time, Phil, there was no blitz. They had the four-man rush coming up. Bono has all the time that he wants to throw the ball, and here comes Hughes.
Again, excellent job. The linebacker's not able to get deep enough because of the play-action fake. And Danon Hughes goes behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties. Easy completion.
Hughes, who led the Chiefs with 8 catches coming into this game, has a touchdown, 8-yarder in the second quarter. That gave Kansas City the lead 10-7. Other play action. Wide open. It's 10. First down at the 5. Randy Hilliard, the only Bronco in the area.
Really, there is no reason for this ball to be completed because actually the receiver is double covered by Steve Atwater and Randy Hilliard, but the out-and-up move kind of fools the defense a little, creates the hole, and Steve Bono does a good job of sticking it in there.
He throws it short. If he throws the ball long, it's either going to be picked off or knocked down, but he threw the ball short, so Penn had to come back to it.
5 yards from the lead. Second effort gets him an additional yard to the 3. Tyrone Braxton, number 34, up from the safety to help out.
You know, it's really hard to, and you know, Marcus Allen's always talking about when I can smell that goal line, I know where it is and I want to get to it. But Marcus Allen, when he's one guy, when he goes into a hole down by the goal line, he's always spinning. He's always moving, so you really can't get a clear shot at him.
Jeff Criswell, a tackle, number 69, the former Jet, is an eligible receiver. He's playing tight end. Touchdown. Only Jerry Rice has more. His 106th rushing touchdown, tying him with Jim Brown, second all-time, 4 behind Walter Payton's record. He topped short yardage and goal line. The point. Stoyanovich makes it 17-14 Kansas City. Marcus Allen. Oh, does he know the way? Quarter comeback, 6 times. Can he do it again? Deborah. Up his blockers. He's wrestled down at the 21-yard line by Greg Minuski. 33 times in the fourth quarter or overtime. He has rallied his team to win 6 of those against Kansas City, more than any other team.
You know, Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday, winning this game in your division at home is worth 2
games. That's right.
Yeah, and they swept all 8 AFC West games last year. A remarkable feat.
They're going for 12 straight in their division.
From the 21-yard line with 79,000 partisans making it difficult. Close enough to Shannon Sharp, almost sacked. Vaughn Booker pounding the turf in frustration. Thought he had Elway.
Tough situation. Vaughn Booker, number 99 on the outside. Gary Zimmerman tries to cut him at the line of scrimmage. Wrong move. John Elway has to hold the ball. Vaughn Booker showing the athlete he is, gets up and pressures and makes him throw it away.
Good news for Denver. Broderick Thompson is back in the ball game.
Almost to Shannon Sharp on the deflection. It's 3rd and 10.
You know, Craver came underneath, and I don't know if was he throwing the ball to Sharp or Craver, because Craver was coming on a crossing pattern as the fullback coming out of the backfield.
Watch Mark Collins to the top of your screen on the right. He's reading John Elway's eyes. He's coming across, and if John Elway would have let him, he would have picked it off.
But I think he was throwing the ball to Sharp and not to Kramer.
I think it was to Sharp, too, yes. He threw it too hard for it to be the back.
Well, the Kansas City defense shackling Elway and Denver. To Sharp, and catches the ball at the 48-yard line. What a throw and catch as Collins and Washington double coverage on the tight end, and Elway gets it in.
Kansas City Chiefs love the pressure of the other team. Look right here, 9 people at the line of scrimmage. Mark Collins against Shannon Sharp. Excellent job with John Elway. Of course, he knows there's one-on-one coverage. He throws it out there, and it's just a terrific play by Shannon Sharp.
And it actually ends up to 2 guys covering on the play, and the ball goes right between the 2 defenders into Sharp's arms.
Shannon Sharp over 100 yards receiving. Another huge day. 131 yards for the tight end. Good protection. Elway goes deep. No chance. Intercepted by Carter. His momentum takes him in the end zone, but they're going to mark it out at the 4-yard line. Intended for Miller. What a catch by Carter.
You know, we talked to Schottenheimer about it. He's the best athlete he has ever coached. And Dale Carter, he said one thing about him on defense. If you put the ball up in the air and he's running one-on-one with coverage, and here he is with Anthony Miller, when he does that, you put that ball up in the air, 9 times out of 10, he's going to come down with it. Look, and he doesn't give up on the play. Anthony Miller just trips, but Dale Carter outruns the football.
Excellent job. You can kind of see why they want to play him in wide receiver some, too. Excellent adjustment, really. Excellent adjustment, showing that he has wonderful soft hands to make the reception there.
Well, we saw him in one play go from offensive receiver to breaking up the pass, become a defensive guy. Here he went from a defensive guy to becoming an offensive receiver.
But I got to say about that play, Shannon Sharp, the tight end, was running across the middle with nobody on him or around him, and after the play, he was raising his hands up going, I could have scored a touchdown.
Dale Carter makes the interception. Momentum from the 4-yard line. Now he's in on offense.
Why not?
Carter saving some of his heroics for the final seconds of games. That was his 2nd interception this year. Both late. Throwing from his end zone for Carter. No flag, and Schottenheimer is burning the ears of the official.
Well, the reason that they're booing here is when your feet tangled up, and we've seen this a couple times, they're not going to call it. Crockett is running downfield with him. Now just look at their feet. Here's Crockett. He's looking back at the ball, and Carter, they just get tangled up right here. That's a good call.
That's right.
That's a no call.
That's right. And Ray Crockett did the proper thing. He did turn around to make trying to go for the ball.
Facing the football. If he'd have turned the other way, they could have called pass interference. But he turned back into the field, looking back at the quarterback.
So Bono from his own end zone goes for the bomb to Carter. 2nd and 10. Allen deep at tailback. And Marcus met by a good surge defensively. Tyrone Braxton and John Mobley helping out the front 4.
I'm surprised Denver should take a timeout. They have 3 of them. And they do.
With 2:42 left, Broncos use their first timeout, trailing by 3. To the Lions, remember? Or check out the Rams. It was the Rams who really pounded them in the
Oh, yeah, I
game
remember
4.
that. Boy, they did hammer them.
3rd down and 8. Big play for Kansas City, trying to run out the clock here with 2:42 to go. To the 15, first down, Chris Penn. Washington made the tackle. What a throw by Bono. Clock running. If Denver uses their 2nd timeout.
No surprise that the Denver defense blitzed, but this time they have a quick pass on the slant pattern by Chris Penn, and Lionel Washington coverage just not tight enough for that type of situation.
The Broncos take their 2nd timeout. Now they get one at the 2 minutes, so they actually have 2 left.
1 left now.
Well, 2-minute warning. I think it's 4.5.
Yeah, but they lost 10 seconds before they finally made the decision to call the timeout.
You know, Phil, go back to the interception. We were talking about Shannon Sharp was open going across the middle. You said that he was wide open, and man, was he ever. Here was the interception of Elway's, and Phil was talking about Shannon Sharp being open, and Elway goes deep. But watch Shannon Sharp across the middle. He is wide open. There is not a soul near him. Right here, I mean, all Elway has to do is just throw the ball there. They've got at least a first down and probably 30 yards. Is that one of those deals when you go back the next day and you look at that thing and say, oh, man.
Well,
just look. It's easy for us up here.
Yes, it is. After the play's over, usually as a quarterback, you know, because you look back and you see there's two defenders on the long ball, you know somebody was probably open underneath it. And I'm sure he was reminded by about 5 people when he went to the sideline who was
Shannon
open
being the first.
That's right. But you always hear that from receivers. Hey, I'm wide open. When you look for them in the game, and they're always covered.
Marty Schottenheimer looking for one more first down that could use up that last time out, the 2-minute warning, and put Denver really in a tough spot, trailing by a field goal. Ball at the 15-yard line, first down. Flag down as Allen is tackled for a yard loss. Alan Aldridge, clock stopped with a penalty at 2:15.
What do you do right here? Do you take the penalty?
It's
send them back a few yards?
No, you don't take the penalty.
Why not?
Why would you want to? I mean, you're
the clock will stay stopped though, so you can push them back. Still play the run. 2-minute stops at the end.
They didn't gain a yard. They get an extra down. I don't want to give them an extra down. I want them to be in second down when they and when they run a play again, then they can call another timeout and then stop the clock at the 2 minutes and then force them to punt after the 2-minute warning. So I don't give them that extra play.
What were the flavors again?
Red and blue.
Did you have?
I got all that stuff in.
The offense was holding. That penalty is declined. There is no charge timeout to Denver. It'll be second down at 10.
That's another reason why you will never be a coach.
That's right, because that was a bad decision and thought by me. You're right. Now they don't have to use the timeout. They get it on.
No wonder Parcells didn't like it.
I still remember that when he comes to the sidelines and he says, "Why did you do that?" And Phil says, "What was the play?"
Well, but he'd been hit hard that play before. Come on. All right, the second down. They still call it 10, but about 10 and a half. Bailey in motion. Wiggles up the middle to almost to the 20. And they'll let it run to the 2-minute timeout. So Denver has one timeout left. Now they call it a 2:04.
You know, when I explain these things to you guys, you got to listen to what I'm saying to you. They're going to run that play and then run this and call another timeout. They have no more timeouts except a 2-minute. Now, they got to run one more play, which will put them, if they hold them, puts them in fourth down. After they got to kick the ball, and they're still going to have about 1:50.
Speaking of running, let's go to New York. Greg Gumbel has an update.
At Foxborough, field goal is up and good by Mike Hollis, 27 yards out. Tie game, and now Jacksonville has just returned an interception. They lead the Patriots late with the penalty flag on the ground. We'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you. And that was, the 22-0 New England lead. Now 25 all. Here, 17-14 Kansas City. It's third down and 5 at the 2:04 mark. A must-stop for Denver, or Kansas City can pretty well run out the clock after the 2-minute timeout. Bono, he's got the first down to Todd McNair. The full complement of time off the game clock.
Well, I had questions coming in this game. If the Broncos running game was for real, is their defense for real? And they were both answered. I believe they are. They showed power and aggressiveness.
And Kansas City shows again why they are one of the most respected teams in the National Football League. They mustered the long drive when they needed it, and then they got the first down when they needed it. And Bono made some very accurate, tough throws under pressure in this fourth quarter.
You know, and Dick, we did him a couple weeks ago, and we saw him so much last year, and because of this man, Marty Schottenheimer, they are a very, very patient football team. I mean, they wait for you to make the mistake, and they kind of help you along in that process, too. But Elway went to the wrong receiver, and Dale Carter outran the ball, which gives him the ball, and they get a chance to run the clock out. I mean, this was a heck of a football game. I just that next one is going to be something when these two teams play again.
And now 33 seconds remain, and that'll do it. So the Broncos left without a way to stop the clock. Kansas City, for the first time in its franchise history, wins its first 4 games. Denver shows the depth of their worthiness, pressing Marty Schottenheimer's team to the final bell. Well, we've heard about Denver, you know, they've had offense with Elway, and Davis is a runner, but also their defense, Phil.
The defense really showed today. It stepped up, and it's aggressive. It's going to make plays. It's going to make...
And somebody gets just was that John Mobley that got a hand on his heel.
This is the start that Denver head coach Mike Shanahan's worried about with his defense, his team. Coming off a big game last week, you've got an underdog Bengal team trying to stick the ball at him early. No emotion from the Denver defense. Mobley makes that saving tackle. But right now, Denver's defense is sitting back, and Jeff Blake and this offense is pretty much dictating to them how the pace of this game is going.
And a gain of 20 yards on the play, so back-to-back an 18-yarder followed by a 20-yarder. First down at the 32-yard line of Denver. Here's Carter, left side. Slides down the line. There's nothing there. Michael Dean Perry makes the tackle for the Denver Broncos.
And that was a nice play by Michael Dean, and the kind of play that Denver defense needs. They need, right now, an impact play. Cincinnati's had the impact plays on offense, but this defense just seems a little bit dull right now. Played that big game last week in Kansas City. I've said it already once, but your emotion comes from your defense. And right now, there's not much emotion out of that Denver defense.
For Cincinnati, a double tight end and a slot on the left side. Second down and 10, opening drive of the ball game. Again, good protection and on target of the tight end, Tony McGee. 20-yard line gain of 12, first down.
Well, two things that Jeff Blake hasn't seen much of lately is time passing and his tight end. Good protection from his offensive line, but more importantly, he gets McGee in the game. McGee is one of the numerous players that's been complaining about not getting the ball enough, not getting the passes from Blake. Well, Blake hasn't been getting that kind of protection from his offensive line to enable him to even get to his tight end, who's usually the third man in the reading progression.
Troy Sadowski now the second tight end in this set for Cincinnati. Sliding left, looking the tackle, and then being driven down. Dejanna Carter back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be it. Steve Atwater makes a tackle. When he goes wide left or right, he kind of glides and looks around.
Well, against this Denver defense, you better go. Because watch backside what happens when the defense starts penetrating and makes things happen. Okay, Lodish backside, Michael Dean onside, Williams onside. You see what I mean? With that pursuit and that speed, you go. You don't glide.
Jeff Blake has completed 3 of 3 for 52 yards. And here's the draw. Carter straight down up the middle. Has about 4 yards. Maybe only 3. Alan Aldridge, the middle linebacker, stops him for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that's a good play against the Denver defense, too, because, you know, Bruce Coslett, the Bengal offensive coordinator, knows that with Perry and these guys blasting up the field, the sacks they've got so far in 96, 16 sacks, they're hungry for more. And a draw is a good play against an aggressive team. That's Bruce Coslett in the white shirt and the headset there with the glasses on.
9th play of the drive, 3rd down and 7. Again, all the time in the world, comes back and throws a deep